But my mother loved to write. She wrote messages on everything. Like she wrote "I love yous" on our lunch bags in shorthand. And she tucked messages in our sock drawers. And in the freezer, like my brother Jack and I would come home after school to thaw something out for dinner, and we'd open the freezer, and lined up would be Tupperware containers with those peel-off paper name tags from her office that said, "Hello, my name is Meatballs." But I started my career in New York in pantsuits and bow ties, which was the biggest waste of the cutest years of my life. Amen, that's right. Amen. Whenever Mom had a wish or a worry, she wrote a little letter to God, like a pen pal, and she put it inside this box. Right away, she would grab a pen, a piece of paper, whatever was handy, any old scrap, and she'd date it, address it, "Dear God," write down whatever the concern, sign it, "Love, Mary," fold it, put it in the box, and let it go. Let it go. That was the hard part. But Mom had a lot to put in the box, especially when it came to my career. I mean, she had a lot of stuff about my stress and all this kind of stuff, but she was always behind me the whole way. I know my first book came out in 2003, and by then I had started Just Ask a Woman and had spent the 3 years before interviewing 3,000 women about their lives, about everything, like what they worried about, what they ate, how they spent their money, their relationships, their families, and it just had so much to say that I wanted to get the book out. And the reason I had started that company was all about women, that just as Erma in the 80s, and Phil was so eloquent and fabulous talking about what she carved forward at a time when nobody was asking women's opinions about important things. That was also true of consumers. And by the late 90s, it started to dawn on America's corporations that, hello, 85% of everything you sell is bought by her, not him. Wouldn't it be good if you knew what the heck she was thinking? While I was doing this, my mom was so, the person I turned to. Whenever I had a big pitch, first person I called was Mom. And in the God box, she had me so covered. I found one: "Dear God, please let Mary Lou win the Liberty Mutual account. Meeting at 4 p.m. You're like, "Oh yeah, I'm on it." and then when I was working on my next book, that was really a big one for her because it was a little more personal. She wrote, "Dear God," no, this one was to St. Anthony. "Please find a publisher for Mary Lou's new book." And then I guess she figured that would be a breeze because she adds, "P.S. Get her on Oprah, Good Morning America, and The View." Really, always had my back. And I finally decided to take a break. I wrote the book Time Off for Good Behavior about how, with a little pause in our lives, we might be able to reinvent who we are and rethink about what's important and redirect our lives to where we really want it to go. And at that point, I felt like, you know what, I'm really going to start to follow this feeling I have about writing and speaking and what I wanted to get into. And the truth is, once you let yourself loose, it's amazing what could happen. And the first page of my book, the first chapter, is called Mary. My mother's name was Mary. I am her namesake and her soulmate. I lost her on May 29th, 2006, as the Memorial Day fireworks kissed the sky goodnight. It was just Mom and me. I believe she planned it that way. Though she lay in a coma from a terrible stroke, I still felt I could read her mind. I knew she couldn't bear to look one last time into the eyes of her beloved husband, my father, Ray, or hug my brother Jack goodbye. But me, she knew I could take it. I was her best friend. When she breathed her last breath, her hand in mine, I swear I could feel her spirit lift into that fire-cracking sky. She took a part of me with her. I was Daddy's girl, but my mother's daughter. I never had any children of my own, so I was never the mother. Instead, I spent my life trying to get an A, even an A+ in daughter. I know that not everyone loves their mother this way, but I did. And there's nothing I wouldn't give to hear Mom's full-throated laugh again, or just feel that hug that squeezed right through the phone to me. I was really lost when I lost her. I mean, my mom and I we had such a bond when if you'd heard us talking, for instance, we had our own language. Like you would have said, what? But one of our words was more. We'd be just talking and suddenly one of us would say more and the other would go more, 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 more. It meant I love you more. And at the end of every phone call, we'd put our hands to the receiver and say, hands on, hands on. That meant we're never apart. I didn't know how to get through. Nothing I had done before mattered. Nothing. Not without my cheerleader. And so I felt I had to tell her story. And I started simple. Real simple, actually, with an article that I wrote in 2010. And it was about her God box. Because when I would tell people about her God box, they'd say, oh my gosh, like, my mom did something like that, or that seems helpful, and I thought, I'm going to write about this. And I was shocked, because you know what it's like sometimes when you write and you don't know, like, what does anybody feel? Like, talk to me. That's why Donna Cavanaugh in her session today was so great. She's saying support each other as writers, write to each other. Well, this time, letters, emails started coming in from women, like whether it was my mom was Mary too, or she was like that, or I wish I had that. I'm a mom, and my mom wasn't so good with me, but I'm good with my girl, It was like, oh, there's something here. So then I got carried away, and I decided to write a book. And I wrote The God Box. I didn't just find one God box when Jack said, where's Mom's God box? I found 10 boxes filled with tiny folded scraps of paper. I mean, there were Post-its and while you were out slips and things written on the back of Dad's prescriptions, even a torn paper towel. And April 2006 was the first one, and I thought, oh, she just wrote that. I mean, it was a month before she died. And then as we started to look, it was 2001 and 1986, 20 years. 2 decades, every wish and worry and decision, it was Mom's love letter to us. And I pulled one out, and dear God, please let the Pergo floor be the right choice. Love, Mary. I mean, I could feel her style. It was so personal, but cozy with God. But she deferred to him if you think it's right. and she was polite. And she knew God had a sense of humor. Dear God, please, a good mammogram result. P.S. I wish you could take it for me. Love, Mary. Yeah, believe me, you learn about yourself from your mother, even when she's gone, or your father. I didn't know I'd learn about it on the back of a Ruby Tuesdays coaster. I've been trying to write my way out of my grief, to celebrate the woman I loved best. After interviewing those thousands of women, eventually we interviewed like 25,000 women over the years, but no one comes close. And isn't that why we write? To connect, to release, to see if you and I hold the same things inside, the same hopes and fears. I mean, that's what I learned by finally writing from my heart, that we're not alone. And I found there are so many ways to take our writing passion and use it to help others. I decided, first of all, with women's busy lives, maybe they wouldn't keep a box with little scraps, to take the worries off their mind. But maybe if it were on their iPhone, they would. So I created the God Box app. It's free on iTunes if you want a mobile way to take care of your worries. And I don't know about you, but when I get an idea, I just can't let go of it. And then I get carried away with it. So after the book, and the app and the site, and there were like these films on there and all kinds of stuff, then I decided this isn't enough. I cannot capture Mom unless I have her voice heard. And I get the feedback that she craves so much in life. So that's why I developed a one-woman show. I'll always be inspired by the one who set me to look at the world. Write. You can write. Write to live, to laugh, to let go, to remember. Write your heart out. Hands on. Thank you.